Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Pine Grove News Live. Well, we almost got even a later start because I just fell asleep in my little comfy chair. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but afternoons are really rough on me. Don't know why, but oh well, we're here. And it's 6:06 p.m. here on the East Coast. And, well, we would have had, we're supposed to have 50-degree weather today, but, man, with that wind, it felt like 30 again. Well, we're supposed to hit 55, I don't know, maybe tomorrow. Almost 60. We'll see what happens. Meantime, I took a lot of notes. And what you won't see in here, but I did take a note on this one, is Iran supposedly announces that they have enough uranium now to put it on a bomb. So there you go. The market saw one article that they were down 700 today, but apparently finishing at somewhere around the 1150 plus mark. So, wow, what a day that must have been on the stock exchange on that floor there, huh? Crazy. So you must have heard that Bloomberg stepped out. He didn't get very many votes. Basically, what they're looking at, and you'll hear my little opinion on that in a second, is that Biden, after he won South Carolina, now appears to be the front runner. But just listen, he finished with 566 delegates, okay? Sanders finished with 501. Now, apparently they need 1,991 to win the nomination. Okay, so they're only, third of the way there. So, in any case. But at this moment, I just made some crazy, conspiracy theory guesstimate. What happens, if Biden, he wins the nomination, then he has a debate with Trump on national TV. And then he starts forgetting, what he's saying or calling something else, something different. Because, they got him almost every day. Just making mistakes. He called Super Tuesday, Super Thursday. And on the stage, he called his wife his sister and his sister his wife. Apparently they made a little switch to confuse him on purpose. Yeah, like he really needed something to do that. But my little theory is that those two will be on stage in debate, right? And I don't know, something happens to Biden. Maybe he just has a total meltdown and for some reason either drops out due to, health reasons or something like that. And then who's going to step in? Guess who's going to step in? Sanders will step in, right? He'll be the next nomination. And then the biggest surprise of all is that Sanders wins. He wins the presidency. And then what happens? Well, something they've been trying to do for a long, long time. Bring us down to what? Third world country level. Socialism, communism. Yeah, so what we've actually created, may end up being ourselves. I just, that would be the biggest, I don't know, I'm right now, I'm just saying, I would have to be in somebody else's matrix in order for that to happen. Not my own matrix, not my own little hologram, but somebody else's hologram, because it really wouldn't be reality to me. It wouldn't. It's just, no, we're still Americans. Yeah. And how Bernie in the first place. So we know how, our children have been taken from us. They've been brainwashed. They've, gone through Common Core. I mean, they can't even sign their own darn names to anything. Everything's digital now. Everything's going to be electronic. So, follow the coronavirus. There's just so many things that are just pointing in that direction, that everything seems to be on, I don't know, the deep states side, the elite, the principalities and powers that be, right where they want us, in fear of some virus coming in. Yeah, just total fear out there. Totally. So, first of all, let's put this up there. Our Fair Use Act warning, because we will be using other people's news headlines to get through all this. And so let me bring you, of course, we're going to have Corona update. Let's see if I can get this right. See this one right here? This is what I got the other day. I think it was, oh man, what's today? Wednesday. So it might have been Monday or Tuesday that I got this crazy. What did it say on there? It said, yeah, Tuesday, 3/3/20 at 5:43 p.m. This is what I got. Even though it says, oh, okay, disappeared. Hold on. Even though it says right there, 80,151 in mainland China, the total confirmed up top was 67,000. So somewhere along the line yesterday, this site just had a meltdown and just got, all discombobulated. But anyways, the real figure, let's see, that was on Sunday, 11:44. This was on Monday, up to 90,000. Okay, over the 90,000 mark. And I couldn't get the right figure for yesterday, Tuesdays. That's the figure I got. Wouldn't give me another one. But we did get this one today. And this is our current one, 95,000. Okay, up 5,000 in 2 days. That's a big jump. Looks like it's getting another kickstart. So, and there's, what was it, 112 right now, and actually 148 in the U.S. I don't know what I was reading. And what's crazy about that, I don't know if it was, this article was out there yesterday, and I just didn't report it because I wasn't doing the news, and I don't know where it was. It might have been in Washington, I'm not sure. But 9 people in one nursing home. Okay, 9 people in one nursing home passed. That's our elderly. That has been the bulk, big bulk, almost everyone who's died from this virus. And hold on, man, because now they're saying that there's 2 out there. Yeah, they're saying that there's 2 strains going on out there, and we'll get to that in a second. But 9 people, 9 elderly people in the same nursing home. We've been talking about this, and it's something that you might have to consider, that this may have been some kind of, somehow genetically modified, because coronavirus has been out there before. And that's what they're saying about this second strain that's out there, that it was modified. And one of the things about this coronavirus is that how quickly it's spreading. So I think that may have been one of the introductions to this strain that they put out there, is that it spreads quickly. Doesn't necessarily kill everyone. I think 70%, and somebody else agrees with that too, of the world's population will get infected with this. Doesn't mean you're going to die from it, folks, okay? Because it's it's less harmful than the regular flu. The influenza, that's where they get the flu from, the influenza. That is much worse. And on Fox News today, because I had mentioned there was 49 people in Connecticut alone that died this year so far from the flu. Well, according to Fox News and whatever contributor that was on there, he actually said 20 to 40,000 people die every year, or at least have or will this year from the flu. Now, I don't know what strain they're calling it this year. It changes, every year. That's why I understand why people get the flu vaccine. I mean, generally, years ago, when you got the flu vaccine, you got a little part of the flu that was in there, and that's why they call it that. And it was to build up your system, build in there and make you less likely to get it. Build up your immunity to it. In any case. But here we have, with this coronavirus, 2 strains that are spreading around the world. 70% infected have caught more aggressive and the contagion type. Now, this is the first I've ever heard of a second strain out there. But here is this map. I'll leave all the links, usually, in the video down below it. And there's another total. I think that might have been yesterday's total. 93,162 cases, 3,204 deaths. And anyway, what does it say? Yeah, the coronavirus has mutated into at least 2 separate strains. Now, how many strains did Russia say that they had the cure for? When I read that article, I believe it was about 3 or 4 different strains of the coronavirus that they did have vaccines for. So in any case, I don't know what's going on. But I can tell you this, you people are acting a little crazy. You people are just letting this, what they're doing, work its way through. I mean, excuse me. I mean, that's one of the reasons that they put this out there, people. They put this out there to scare you, to make you, pay attention, get flu vaccines, get food, whatever, prep for it, buy more of this, buy more of that. But mainly to scare you, to tell you that money is dirty and that they're going to get rid of that, cashless society, which is what they want. B system, mark on your hand or forehead. A lot of things could happen here. Martial law, gun confiscations. They can do all that with this coronavirus. Now, they've already said it was a pandemic. So I don't know what some of these articles that I've seen today say that, that the WHO hasn't come out with declaring it a worldwide pandemic yet, and it certainly has. Somebody has, because I've heard it before. In any case, there's a lot of things that you need to know that they could do in this. Anyways, let's continue with this. From the USA Today, got down here, this wife, kids, neighbor of New York, patient infected. The whole family got infected. And it doesn't say that anybody died. It says that they're infected. A lot of people. 70% of the population is going to be infected, everyone. Okay? You will most likely be infected with it. Doesn't mean that you'll have the symptoms. Doesn't mean that you'll actually go through the flu-like symptoms and all this other stuff. You just will have it. It's just like getting a vaccine. If you don't get sick from it. I know some people who've got the flu vaccine a couple years back and they got sick from that vaccine. They'll never do it again. But anyway, doesn't matter how old you are in getting it or being exposed to it and not getting ill. Doesn't mean that you're exposed to it or that you have it, yet you'll actually have to endure the, the symptoms. So what are you worried about? I mean, this neighbor, okay, 50 years old, and the kid, one of the children, 20 years old, yeah, they were infected. They tested supposedly positive, and actually there was, right here, a man passed out. He was wearing a mask, and he passed out on the street in New York. And yeah, then goes New Yorkers go into a panic buying mode. Shoppers in Brooklyn and Queens, go and buy whatever they were buying from some guy passing out. And I'm telling you, have you had the flu? I've had the flu. I had 105 temperatures when I was 10, I believe, 10 or 11. I had 105 temperature, and I told you about that already. Had the flu. I never passed out. I mean, yeah, I was tired. I slept a lot, but I never passed out. I think there was only one time I passed out, and that was the scariest moment ever in my life. That was from drinking. Yeah, driving down the highway, drinking Yukon Jack at my buddy's house, 20 minutes prior to that. Then I go home like every young, stupid teenager's been drinking, tries to, say he's okay to drive. And I'm driving through Belchertown here in Massachusetts, and then next thing you know, I'm on the highway, and I'm coming towards Springfield. I think it was Springfield, yeah. And I don't remember the whole trip. Are you serious? How did I ever not get into an accident? Because I don't remember anything from when I blacked out in Belchertown, driving through the wooded area, rural. And then next thing you know, I was on the main highway. Oh, the Lord was definitely following me then, man. I cannot explain anything like that. Somebody passes out, they just lose control, right? They don't have control over a car, driving, 15 miles? No. So anyways, everybody's going on this freaking panic buying groceries, milk, whatever, bread. Same thing they do when they get 2-inch storm predicted here in New England these days. I'm telling you, the true New Englanders in over here, they don't exist anymore. I don't know what happened to them. Maybe Common Core, did the whole thing. It's just crazy. The fear here, it's just crazy. And you stick around, because at the end I'm going to read Psalms 91 again to you. Okay? If you're a Christian, state to be a Christian, I mean, you should not be fearful whatsoever. Whatsoever. Actually, before I started the news, I've been excited all day. To see these things happening, and the things that the government or whoever, the powers that be, or what they're trying to maybe accomplish, and they could possibly pull it off, we'll be in the beast system in no time. There'll be martial law. There'll be cities locked down in containment. It'll just be another world. And I don't think we're supposed to, not the church anyway, we're not supposed to be here. There is supposed to be a rapture before all those things happen. Apparently. That's what a lot of people believe. Now me, I think it's pretty close around that time, if not thereafter. Once, I believe that maybe we'll even see the beast system start and the Antichrist and come in and whatever. That little political thing that goes on between heads of state and demonic forces. I believe we might even see that. And before the really bad things start happening with those people, like their heads, I think that would probably be the time. Because the rest of us already know what's going to happen after that. And it surely will be the wrath of God. Not the end, because the end is just so much worse than that. But in any case. So here's another one from Action News. Here's what's coming for America as the coronavirus spreads. City-scale quarantines, overrun hospitals, domestic flight lockdowns, and medical martial law. Yeah, I believe another California district town has declared a state of emergency. I don't know if it's Los Angeles or not. I believe that's what World Watchman told me. Well, in any case, exposed. This is from a telehub. Fully staffed forced quarantine camp, complete with 12-foot tall fencing and razor wire, discovered in Washington State. I heard World Watchman talking. I couldn't get the article, couldn't find it. That there were multiple. I don't know, what do they call them? They're not calling them FEMA camps, okay? They're not calling them that anymore. They're calling them something else. But there was an article out there somewhere. It's on, it's in Testify. It's, let's see, World Watchman, his page. I couldn't find it in time. But apparently there's a bunch of them down there that have been exposed. They used to be exposed quite a lot. Jesse... what's his name? Remember that big time wrestler there? Man, I'm surprised I can't remember his name. The Hulk Hogan, Was it the Hulk Hogan? Yeah, he became mayor or something too. I don't know, maybe I'm talking about the same person, but he went around and exposed all those things on camera. Well, not all of them, a couple of them. Yeah, they're not. They're not there to protect you. They're there to keep you in. So the barbed wire fencing, and this one, has links to it. At least I saw the one link up there. I don't know what it's going to show with a rainy window, but yeah, we've talked about all this before. We're still waiting to see what those coffin liners, they call them, that they buried underground in multiple places around this country. The ones that can hold either probably 3 to 5 human beings in one coffin, or put a coffin inside of it, whatever. Still, is that something that's going to be used? I think someone is being targeted on this one. They want to get rid of, and I kept saying 6.5 billion people in this world. I heard the other day that it was 7.8, so I'm obviously a little off. So you still would have to kill 700 billion or 7 billion people, And I guess the Chinese, in their crematoriums, one way you can get rid of them. You have to, if the body is diseased, yeah, it's good to burn them, because first of all, once you die, there's nothing in that shell anymore, because that's all it was a shell. And in that shell was put your soul, and in that soul was put your spirit. Right? If you're a Christian, you base, kind of what the basics are, some basics. Yeah. So when they clone people, they are soulless. They don't have spirits. They just have memory chips. Anyways, I've never, I know it's unethical. They're not allowed to do it, but I guarantee you they've done it already. I've seen plenty of videos where they actually grew. I just saw them in bags. I didn't actually watch them grow, okay? But some really whacked out stuff out there. A lot of stuff is made up, make believe. Well, we got to pray on everything that we get, right? And search for the truth and everything. So this was in Well, Washington State, basically where it started coming in. I believe that was where the first case was, right? So, let's see. Gotta get rid of some things. Okay, so got that. Oh yeah, this is pretty weird too. Where was this? Missouri? Yeah. End time headlines. Over 1,000 birds have died in one Missouri town. Of course, leaving officials baffled. Yeah, over 1,000 birds have been found dead near a Missouri town. Officials are scrambling to find the cause, which is still unknown. Yeah, it's always still unknown. Yeah, we don't know. They may know, they're just not admitting it, so they'll just say, we don't know. Remember, we're talking about 5G too, and you got to think about that because they want to implement it. They have logistics that they've got to be able to relay information in an instant, and they need this 6G to do it, and they need these antennas and these cell towers to do it. And what's worse on a carbon-based life form? A frequency that they're not supposed to be at. Yeah. And we can talk about that for a while too. But hey, man, they have been testing 5G here. They've been testing it in the UK. Go listen to their stories. There are multiple stories out there, multiple die-offs. Yes, the Lord said he was going to take these things away from us, all the birds and the beasts of the field. Of course, not after he uses some of them to kill some of us. But anyway, so let's see. Skilton is located in southwest Missouri, roughly 34 miles south of Cape Girardeau. Of course, I probably butchered that, but so they got a little 53-second clip here. These are just the birds flying around. They're obviously not dead because they're flying around, but I have never seen birds in that number fly around. I mean, we have birds here in September that get together, and fly south, but they're never in numbers like this. But we'll let this run for 53 seconds. And so that was in neighborhoods near Wakefield Road. Just want to let you know. So if you got any information out there, people, send it in. Put it in the comment section. Yeah, tell me you're not freaking out right now if you were standing there watching this. I'd be freaking out a little bit. I wouldn't be fearful, but I would probably be saying, wow, holy moly. I'm just trying to hear the sound. Apocalyptic. No? Everything's apocalyptic and biblical now, folks, let me tell you. Yeah, I know some people got out of the gate early with those words, but so this is very interesting. Doctors used the CRISPR gene editing technology directly in a patient for the first time. Normally they would take cells out and introduce whatever they have into those genes and then put them back in the body, but they're doing it directly right now. So what that does, what will it do? They're not telling you what it did or what it's doing in this story. They're just telling you that they did it. Okay, and they will pay for it. Hopes of restoring their vision. I mean, that would be awesome. It would be. You know, the Lord said that, you know, we live in a time where technology, you know, high tech, you know, man would, his knowledge would increase, whatever. I don't know the exact word to use. So, I mean, I know the words that I could use, you know, increase exponentially, you know, every year from the time that it was introduced, the World Wide Web and all the information. And it just keeps growing. But, and yes, with all this information, all this knowledge that we have, you can bet your bottom dollar that these people know how to cure cancer. They know how to give it to you. And they can cure everything. But there's no money in it. I hope you know that, folks, that this is all about the money for them. And keep you in, you know, your spot, your slave class position. That's it. Yeah, Jesus said, you will always have the poor amongst you, but you will not always have him like he was back then, in the flesh. Man, I look forward to that day. And actually, we won't be in the flesh, we'll be in the spirit. So it'll be kind of a turnaround there, you know, flip flop. You know, things that go on in heaven actually happen on earth and vice versa. Somebody told me that one time. Kind of mirror each other. Very interesting. That, and I'm starting to read a book. Going to read a book, Exo Vaticana or something like that. Something about the Hopi Indians in the mountains where the Vatican put up a couple telescopes and the fight they had with the Indians. And not because they had some kind of sacred burial ground there, which they did, but that wasn't the fight. It was about something else. It was about supposedly the tops of these mountains. I mean, that's where we got the 200 fallen angels came from, right? From on top of a mountain. I don't know if I'm Mount Hermon, I think, just taking a guess. But anyways, the Hopi Indians or whoever the Indians, I thought it was the Hopi, but the mountains were, you know, they're closer to heaven. And, you know, that's why Nimrod wanted to build that Babel Tower, because the Indians believed that on this particular mountain, they were able to open a hole, or a wormhole did open, and it was actually passage, you know, kind of like Jacob's ladder when he saw the angels ascending and descending on a ladder. I mean, I could give you a couple books to read that have really enlightened me. They're not bad books. They're actually it tells me some stuff that I tried to avoid for a long time. I tried to avoid Revelation and Ezekiel and Daniel for a while because the difference in people's opinions on it, for one, really, I didn't want to get into a mess that I didn't know which side to take. Of course, you always take, you know, God's side, and the Holy Spirit will teach you from then on, and not let man teach you. Because I've learned a little bit from everybody that I've been around, everyone that I've listened to. I have a little bit of every one of them in me, and not one of us is 100%. Not one of us, and not any of us is any good. Though we strive to be, I know I do, even though I'm failing quite, you know, I don't know, I do fail. I don't know if it's that often, but anyways, let's get off that subject. So there you go, more technology. And I wasn't going to show this one at all, but I'll leave the link for you. Unidentified flying objects over the Frisco UFO during a Milky Way time lapse. I watched it for a minute and a half, and that's all I'm going to let it play for you. I still don't get what the heck they were looking at. I do see some lines that go through it, but if it's in a time lapse, of course you're going to see a line. If something passes through you, you're not going to see the object, but a line. Watch. See those lines? They're talking about that, the red line. Those are not the only lines. I've seen quite a few that go this way. Of course, the red ones are going crazy this way. And these obviously are power lines. But anyway, that's a minute, 52 seconds. Just something interesting. And, I do understand, and I'm praying for the people of Tennessee and whoever else was, affected by these things, the tornadoes. I saw some footage, and it was just horrendous. I don't know what you did, Tennesseans, but you seem to be in the news a lot. Tornado Alley, I guess, part of it. So, Lord. But this was a pretty bad one. This supposedly went for 50 miles or something like that. So I didn't want to leave them out. 40 structures. Hits Nashville, causing extensive damage, at least 24 casualties, 40 structures destroyed. Now, I haven't heard from my sister, Jody Jules, okay? And I believe that she's in Tennessee as well as, or maybe she's not in Tennessee. She might be. I mean, there's a couple people I know that might be in Tennessee. There's, oh man, there's Tatum. I believe that's in Tennessee. There's Jimmy Jesko, okay, who I believe is in Tennessee also. Now, I haven't heard from Jody. I mean, she may just be going through her trials that we all go through, and we're silent sometimes. I've done that many times. So let's just pray for these people, of course. We've all been through our sufferings in our life. So the Tennessee Governor Bill Lee declared state of emergency. State of Tennessee has activated a strong coordinated response effort to last night's devastating storms. Let's pray for them and for the rest of the season, man. I'm not used to hearing about tornadoes in the winter anyway. I mean, I could be wrong, probably just didn't listen to them. I thought these storms were all in the, early spring and into late summer. But anyway, let's pray for those people, please. And so, yeah, we told you about this. This is from World Israel News. Bloomberg out Biden in Super Thursday. Yeah, that's what he called it. Super Thursday, a Tuesday. Yeah, couldn't make up his mind. This is why I don't understand. Whatever, man. Whatever. I guess we know how things should go, right? But it's obviously not going that way because things are just turned upside down. You know who's in charge of this world? That's also the book that I'm reading right now. He is definitely in charge, him and his dominions, the demon rats, and many, many others. So according to Trump, he spent $1 billion in ads and all this stuff, and only ended up getting 51 delegates bought and paid for. But I heard from somebody else who's not a Trumper that it was only 500,000. So if he only got 51 delegates, or maybe it was 55, it was like, $100,000 for 10 delegates. These people, who think they're, all powerful because they have money, and just, you all know what I'm talking about, right? What I could do with $500 million, and I'm not talking about a dime coming my way. The things that can be done with that money to help people out, to help the poor and the homeless, and maybe do some other things, you know? I mean, heck, that stuff does irritate me. It irritates me. I'm sorry, but it does. I hope it does to you too. It should. And so I guess they had elections the other day in Israel. I guess from this that Netanyahu his decisive third election victory, but somebody's trying to stop it, but it's not going to happen. Well, I guess he's in. I mean, he's in, but doesn't he have to form a government and all that stuff too? This is why they went into the third elections. Or maybe it's been more. I don't know. I haven't been, you know. And so this one came after he was elected, I guess. Israel's Supreme Court rejects petition to disqualify Netanyahu. I don't know what rounds. I don't care. I'm not following. I have a hard enough time following our own politics. But I know Israel's important. Yes, Israel. Those are the elect, I guess, his people. Even though I thought he disowned them, right? He's more interested in his land. You know, the land that he designated as his over there in Middle East, in Israel, and on. But anyway, well, there you have it. Netanyahu and Iran now, you know, claiming they got enough for a nuke. Things are heating up. Things are changing. Very dangerous times we're living in. Everyone needs to protect each other, help each other out, lift each other up. Yeah, they're going to come after the Christians even more so next here in the U.S. It's martial law. I'm just, you know, I almost see it coming, can't you? I mean, remember, they still have the 2,000 or 3,000 guillotines that the government bought? Remember the billions of ammo that they bought for what? The post office workers or the or both? I think they bought them, the post office people, guns and ammo, and the billion, you know, rounds of ammo they bought for somebody. What was the FBI or something like that? Even though, you know, one of the main reasons was just to buy the ammo so it wasn't available to the people. That was one of their tricks, and so they outlawed or disallowed, you know, other means to make your own ammo. So you wouldn't be able to do that, and then went and bought all the ammo, so you couldn't buy any, so you wouldn't have any ammo. That was their little thing there to do. What is this? Oh, yes. Okay. So we're done with the basic news. And now we're going to get into some of the crazy things that people are doing out there. And it just baffles the mind that people, this is where their thinking is. This is where, and I do know that somebody mentioned this, and I have to agree with them on this part, that the people on this planet, excuse me, so-called human beings, they are definitely de-evolving. But it's not all their fault, though. I mean, the government with their spraying and the water, the poison in the water and the food, with all this, I mean, corn syrup, you know, I talked about that the other day. One of the worst things for you, and they put it in just about everything. For flavoring, for preservatives, whatever. Sugars and everything. I really shouldn't have it. Let's just keep praying over our food. You know, and, you know, some people, you know, just go out there and buy freaking 5 pounds of sugar, okay, because they can't have sugar, but they're going to pray over it and then gobble it down. That's not what I mean. Sometimes you just, I don't know, you just can't help but get some of these things, and unfortunately that stuff is in it. So these 2 minors, somebody's finally been charged after participating in a viral skull breaker challenge. I know we came out, I don't know, it was probably a month ago, maybe not that long, on this warning of this skull breaker challenge that kids are doing. And you'll see it. We'll actually play it down here. And we'll play it in here. Anyways.
This new viral trend making the rounds on TikTok. It's called the Skull Breaker Challenge, and 2 New Jersey students are now facing charges for doing it after seriously injuring another child. Ariel Rushef is here, and Ariel, this has some big consequences.
It sure does, Amy. It's yet another dangerous viral prank sweeping social media. The Skull Breaker Challenge already landing several kids in the hospital with serious injuries. Now a family from New Jersey is sharing their 13-year-old son's story to warn others.
Videos like this one may only be a few seconds, but the frightening aftermath can last much longer. This Skull Breaker Challenge is as dangerous as it sounds. 2 people, fool an unsuspecting third into jumping into the air, kicking their feet right out from under them, all captured on video and shared on...
You know, that's just it. I mean, what kind of a mind must you have to think that this is some kind of funny joke? Okay, to actually get these unsuspecting people, and they should know. I mean, it's been out for a while. To get this unsuspecting, they must have, I don't know them, trust them in some way, to go in the middle, you know, and jump, and then tell them to jump, and they jump, and just, well, you've seen it. You've seen it. Just take their legs right out from under them.
Into the air, kicking their feet right out from under them, all captured on video and shared on TikTok.
Yeah, a lot of back, neck injuries, head injuries. That's why they call it Skull Breaker. And I haven't seen, here's another one right here. Let's go to it.
Authorities and doctors warning the challenge is putting those targeted at significant risk.
If you hit head first, you can have a skull fracture, a hematoma on the outside of the skull, or even bleeding within the brain.
And the Shanker's son, not the only one, suffering serious injuries resulting from the viral dare.
I couldn't feel my hands, I couldn't feel my legs, my feet, nothing.
Man, there you go. There you go, people. These are our teenagers coming up. Very scary. And you know that these teenagers, they don't know how to sign in cursive. They don't know how to write in cursive. We were taught how to write in cursive. Okay, not print something out. So how to, you know, that's how we used to really identify ourselves. And I guess that's why they got rid of it. Because you're not going to be an individual. You're going to be a collective, right? So you don't need to sign your name and be individual, be independent. Well, that independent has nothing to do with it. So anyways, they don't know how to sign their names because they're not going to have to, because it's going to be all online. That B system we talked about, the cashless society, they're already talking about the money being tainted and everything else everywhere, and that they should get rid of it. That was one of the other articles that I could not find that talked about this. I don't know if it was a video or not, but let's see which one. What is this? Well, it's nothing because it's right now it's frozen. Okay, it wants me to donate. Okay, from the Free Thought Project. So, yeah, I get a lot of stories about, you know, stupid people, but mostly about what cops do and how they get away with it. But this is just ridiculous. And I'll tell you a story about my grandson, too. So this 10-year-old boy, handcuffed, arrested, and charged with felony for playing with a Nerf bow and arrow. Now, it depends on where he was playing with it. Because remember, I was going to tell you, my grandson, probably only 10 at the time, was on a school bus, and he had plastic bullets in his pocket, and he took it out, and he was kind of rolling around in his hand, you know, and he got suspended from the bus anyway for, I don't know, 3 to 5 days and got written up in school for plastic bullets. Of course, this was a time when a lot of people were in fear over really nothing. Schools, people going into schools and shooting other people. Well, that's just, being suggestive. Just like this coronavirus, you're supposed to be fearful. So you better be fearful. Go buy food, go buy water. So when we shut everything down, we know where you got it. Remember that they told German citizens had to do that too. They had to get, what was it? What was it? A couple of weeks, or was it 3 to 6 months? It wasn't 6 months. So it was like 3 months or under worth of supplies that they had to do as citizens. Yeah. So this is just crazy crap, man. What is this all about? Okay. So I guess you really can't, buy any toys for your children that has anything to do with guns or war. Well, I don't know about the war because they made before that. But hell, I grew up having toy guns, a toy cat pistol. We used to play cowboys and Indians, but who knows? I may get all kinds of letters now, because I mentioned Indians instead of Native Americans or something. Somebody's always offended. But that Jesus said that you'll know the signs, because that's one of the signs that people will be easily offended, and they are. I mean, here in the United States, you would never think that, because we have free speech. We can say anything that we want. Not anymore, folks. Not anymore. If anything, we're just so close behind Canada. I mean, you can't talk about anything hateful. You can get arrested and jailed for hate speech, and you probably can here too now. I think you can. And this is a pretty darn sad story. Ridiculous. Over something ridiculous. This 2-year-old was taken from her parents for using medical marijuana, and then the child was murdered into foster care. I'm not even going to go to the story, because I already know it's bad. For using medical marijuana. I mean, why sell or give him medical marijuana if he's going to have his child taken away? I mean, I just can't wrap my head around that. They'll just try and take your child. And who knows? Maybe she wasn't murdered. I mean, I don't know the whole story. Really, I don't. It could easily been say it was murder and just abduct the child. I've heard of many cases where through these programs, I don't know what you call them right now. I can't think of it in my head. Not the foster care, but DHS, family services, that type of thing, which when they started getting involved in parenting, knew we were going to be into trouble. So anyway, it's just stuff like that, man. So I want to, like I said, I'm going to read you Psalms 91. So if you want to leave, we're done with the news. You can leave. We're all set. So let me start by saying it's Psalms 91. Psalms 91, my refuge and my fortress. In Psalms 91, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress, my God. In him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Because he has set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble, and I will deliver him, and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him, and show him my salvation. I mean, I have to read it a lot. There are many other Psalms in there that are shorter and say basically the same thing. Spend some time in Psalms, everyone. For anyone who's fearful, afraid, unsure, untrusting, don't know whether you can trust God or not, you just gotta let that go. Give it a try it. Trust him. He's not man. Can't trust man. With that, everyone, God bless everyone. It's Wednesday. Lord willing, be back Friday. Unless something terrible happens. So, God bless everyone. Peace out. Be good to each other.